Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Back to Basics series. We have had quite the morning, and by we, I mean I have had quite the eventful morning getting these things set up, even getting on early. So thank you guys for your excitement and your sweet text messages that y'all are sending me. I'm sorry that I look like I'm in, I don't know, my camera's weird and all of it. Okay. I have with me today, we are wrapping up our Back to Basics series, and I have with me today, you guys, I almost hate saying this because it feels like a knock to the other people that have been on with me all week, but let's just say I have an incredibly special guest with me, someone who inspires the heck out of me, and that I feel like, you know, when I started putting this together and thinking of these topics, I really started putting together people that I knew could speak on those topics with authority, people that I was inspired by, that didn't just talk the talk, but walked the walk. And so when I thought about consistency and really just bringing that passion and energy and fire to your business and talking to you about not giving up, about doing the things you need to do day in and day out, Jared was the first person that came to mind. He's been in the industry a very long time. And so I'm excited to welcome you on. Thank you for jumping in like a pro with the technical difficulties there earlier, Jared. So why don't you just give everybody, I'll tell you what, I'm not even going to say 60 seconds. Why don't we do 2 of your 60-second stories, a little bit about you and where you're from, kind of what got you into network marketing, and then what made you come over to It Works, because you've been doing this a really long time.
Ashley, good morning. I'm excited. Thank you for having me on. I feel like I've died and gone to heaven. I get to share the platform with you and all of you incredible leaders this morning. I'm excited. You know, I've been involved. Matter of fact, August, Ashley, I celebrated my 16th anniversary in the direct sales network marketing profession. And I did not grow up, Ashley, saying I wanted to be a network marketing distributor as a career. I don't think any of us did. I started my career in the telecommunications space, working for a company I cannot tell you the name of, but its initials are AT&T. And I was there for all of 5 years, worked my way up into management, and had a team of about 60 in terms of a staff of about 60 employees at the age of 20, 21 years old. And I was going down that path because my parents are both attorneys. They've been practicing law for over 30 years. And I was raised by a mother that's from originally Nigeria. And my father is from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Roll Tide. And so they taught me the essence of hard work and dedication, commitment, and consistency and focus. So much so at the age of 5, Ashley, I was transported and went and lived in Nigeria for 5 years. And Nigeria is a developing nation, a third world country, as it were. And so we had none of the luxuries that we have here in the United States. We had no running water, no electricity whatsoever. Sometimes you didn't know where or if you were going to eat 3 square meals on any given day. And to add insult to injury, I didn't have my parents and didn't see them or talk to them for almost 5 years, while they would be consistent with becoming attorneys, going through law school and having to pass the bar and all of those things. But anyhow, when I got back in '94 to the US, I got back with a resilience, whereas so many people take this country and opportunities that were given for granted all over the world that I wasn't privy to when I was there. And so I said, I want to do something big with my life. And I never forget getting invited to an event, getting invited to a meeting. And I went, Ashley, as the no-no guy. I went to help my friend tell the person that was trying to get him into network marketing that no, it was a scam, no, he was not going to do it, and I am the no enforcer. And as fortune would have it, I came crash course and made a collision with where my future was going to go, and I met a man. And I tell people all the time, no matter where you are in life, at some point or another, you've made the appointment to be there. And so I met a man that completely transformed my way of thinking. This was more than 16 years ago, and he gave me a portrait of possibilities of what could take place if we became serious, became consistent and committed in terms of a career, and more so a calling. when it comes to network marketing. And so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I love it. So, you'd been in another network marketing company, did very successful there. What was it really kind of about It Works that made you jump in and say yes? Was it another man? Was it, that just told you about it? Was it the products? Like, what was it that made you say yes, and that kind of keeps you here?
It was a man. I'll be completely candid. When I looked at It Works, I saw It Works for what it was. And I never really paid attention to It Works. I just knew it was the rap company with a lot of women. And so me as a man, I said, well, of course, I'm not doing that. But I got a call. I'll never forget getting a call from Mike Lemire. Mike's an ambassador in the company. He calls me. We were in a previous company together. He was a part of my team. And he says, hey, I know you're looking and really searching for where you're going to go next, and what you're going to do next. And we've only been with 2 other companies over the last decade. So we don't do a lot of moving around. And the first company we were with for 7 years, they're virtually out of business. The second company, they just had so many issues with shipping, and people weren't getting paid, and people weren't getting their products. And I couldn't represent a company that couldn't honor their commitment and be consistent with it.
Right.
And so I was looking for a soft place to land. And I never forget when he called me, he said It Works, and I completely checked out. I'm like, dude, I don't know if you noticed, I'm a dude, I'm a guy, I'm a man's man. I'm not going to sell no raps to no women. And so I literally asked him, I'm telling him, I wish you the best. God bless you, Godspeed, trying to gradually get him off the phone. And my wife comes into the living room and overhears the conversation. And he says something which really resonated. He said, I'll send you the details about where It Works has been, where they are currently, and more importantly, where they're getting ready to go over the next 3 years. They're going on another run. So she says, baby, forward me the email. And I said, cool. I'm in the middle of watching something on television. I was watching LeBron James. He was just making his announcement at that time that he was making a transition from Cleveland to LA. And so nonetheless, I ended up forwarding the email to my wife, and I didn't even look at the email that he had sent. And maybe about 20 minutes later, she says, they've done this. They're a $500 million company. They've got their own private island. They've got their own helicopters, planes. They've got a corporate office that's paid for. Man, this company is pretty solid. Why don't we go meet the people behind the company? I said, sure. Happy wife, happy life. Let's go meet them. And so we did. And I never forget meeting with Mike Patillo, the chief sales officer of the company, and hearing the vision of what the company was getting ready to do. And I never forget having dinner with Mark Pentecost. And we just hit it off. It was just an instant connection. We were talking sports for all of 90% of the time. And the last 10% of the time, he talked to me about the vision of where It Works was going and what the company had already created. And I always tell people, we don't join companies. We join people. And I looked at him, and I was so inspired at what he had been able to build, the team that he had been able to assemble, the consistency. For me, I saw 18 years of a track record of the ups and the downs, the ebbs and the flows. And I said, this is somebody I could connect to. And I tell people this all the time. Who you're connected to is taking you somewhere. Scripture says, if the blind leads the blind, they both go in a ditch. And so many of us are connected to ditch dwellers. That's why we're in ditch situations. And I said, here's a man, 18 years, that this is all he's done, and his whole family's a part of it. And there's no hiccups in terms of, oh, we're not shipping and we're not paying, and we've got a vision to take our company beyond $1 billion. I said, sign me up. I want to be a part of the next chapter of It Works. And so that's how we got introduced. And that was September 2018. So this month made 2 years that we said yes and continue to say yes every single day.
No, I love that so much. And, I wish more people, would got to know the Pentecost on that level that so many of us have been able to get to know them, because you're exactly right that who you're connected to, that's who's leading you. That's where you're going. And I love being connected to a family that has got vision. And I love being connected to, Mark that cares about us, that doesn't ask us to do what he hasn't already done. That's huge for me in leadership. I always gravitate and look for the people that aren't talking, but that are walking. That's what's the most important to me. And I tell my team that all the time, that you have got to be willing to go out and do the things that you are asking your team to do. And I feel like we can follow this team that we've got, this corporate team that we've got, because that's exactly what they have done and what they are, what they continue to do. You know, you can follow somebody like that all day long, right? With that example. So I have a couple of questions that I jot down and that I feel like I get a lot of the time. And I want to start here. We have so many brand new people. And I want to talk there, but I feel like that passion, excitement, energy, fire kind of can propel you through those first few months of, you know, but there's no rut that's happening. You've been in just, you know, maybe a few months. So, but I want to talk to those people. I actually had a couple of messages this morning with some ladies that were talking about that struggle of being consistent day in and day out, of not waking up and putting out fires, but waking up and working their own business and being consistent, not just giving, you know, to everybody else, but kind of starting with their own business. And I would love to kind of talk about that and unpack that for just a little bit, and get your thoughts on that.
Well, my thoughts around it are very simple. If you're consistent, you'll get there. If you're persistent, you'll stay there. And what I mean by that specifically, I was so touched, Ashley, I don't know if you saw this, a little over a few weeks ago, a young man by the name of Chadwick Boseman. He played T'Challa in Black Panther, a blockbuster hit. He also played Jackie Robinson in 42. He played James Brown and so many other films. And here's what grabbed me. Here's what grabbed me when I thought about this topic this morning. The fact that he did his best work and was consistent while fighting cancer.
Right.
And so many of us, we deal with putting out fires, or, oh, you know, my dog needs braces, or, you know, my cat, my cat needs grooming, or my spouse doesn't want me to do this, or my girlfriend is laughing at me, or nobody's liking my post, or my host of posts is not getting me the returns, or man, this and that. And we come up with all of these reasons why, or these excuses why we can't be consistent. And I heard a long time ago that an excuse is nothing but a well-planned lie. When I look at people that achieve at the apex, at the summit of their careers and in their life, they're the ones that are consistent. And we can only know, and we only can tell when we're consistent when we have a challenge. Whatever the challenge is, and whatever that challenge is, whether it's, and we all deal with the same challenges. People not showing up, people saying they're going to do something and it doesn't happen. Here's another one, someone telling you they're going to do something and they do not do it. Whether that's your sponsor, whether that's your senior business partner, your upline, whether it's some shipping issue with the company, anything. And here's the challenge that I had to grow up and understand. Nothing and no one in life is perfect. Everything that you think is going to happen, or everything that you think that's going to be planned to fall into place, oftentimes many things have to fall apart, but they're really falling into place. And so for me, the way I've stayed consistent through the business, and it's not something whereas, Ashley, I'm consistent just, with my words. I'm consistent not just with my actions, I'm consistent with my belief. And there's such a true essence to believing and being consistent with your belief, because I tell people this: you got to raise the bar. The BAR in your life, the BAR in your business. The B stands for believe. When it is that you believe in our products, when it is that you believe in our system, when it is that you believe, watch this, in yourself. That is the essence and the foundation of everything else, because first is the belief, then the A is your activity. I mean, it's so much, Ashley, it is so much simpler to grow a business now today than it was 5 years ago, than it was 10 years ago. Lord, when I started 16 years ago, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have Instagram, we didn't have YouTube. I think we just had MySpace. Now, you can host a post. Oh my God, I remember when we started, I had to go host a conversation at IHOP. I had to go to Denny's. Denny's has the nastiest pancakes ever. But I had to go to Denny's and meet people. I had to go to the gas station when I didn't need gas, or when I didn't have money to buy the gas, to meet people, to generate leads, to generate interest. So when the belief is high, the activity is high. And when the activity is high consistently, then you will get the result. And so whenever a person comes to me, Ashley, and they're not happy with their results, they're not fulfilled with their result, I always redirect them to say, hey, let us go and look at your activity for the last 30 days. How many enrollments have you done of new customers? How many new distributors have you enrolled? Mike Patillo told me something the other day that really resonated. He said, new business solves old problems.
Nice. Yeah, that's good.
I look at your activity and then I drill down, Ashley. I say, let us look at your belief. What have you been reading? What have you been seeing? What have you been hearing? Because faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing.
That's good. You know, and I wrote this down. The idea of the belief, I feel like, is where so many people get hung up.
Yes.
You know, and I love that you said it starts there. We have our team page. I named it years ago, Massive Belief, Massive Action.
Yes.
Simply because they go hand in hand. And the problem is that I've got people, and I know you do too, and there's multiple people in this business that their belief is high. And, you know, they're the ones that on the first of the month, I'm going ambassador this month. And you're like, well, maybe we'll just start with Ruby. Like maybe we just start with like just a loyal customer, you know.
Yes.
So like the belief is there. I can do this. And they're the ones that are posting the scripture and the most excited about everything, but the action's not there. And then I've got people who the action is there, and day in, day out, Ashley, I mean, they'll show me their, you know, we call them KPIs or your 6 list or however you work your business.
Right.
You know, I'm doing this and they're doing all the things. Yes. And yet the result isn't there. Yes. And I love that you said this because, well, first of all, I love acronyms. And so you're speaking my love language right there, just acronyms. But then the fact that people, the fact that people will take the belief but not pair it with action, or take the action and not pair it with belief, and then wonder why they aren't getting results, I think is the key thing that I would love for people to take away today, that result is connected to both. And unfortunately, guys, one without the other will leave you crashing and burning. Activity will only get you so far in this business without the belief in yourself, in the business, in what you're doing, in your why, you know. And it's one thing I really wanted you to talk about. So I appreciate the probably you didn't even realize it, the segue you set yourself up for. But so how does one of the ladies I talked with this morning, if I'm being honest, I mean, she just kind of talked about burnout. Like, I'm doing the things I need to do, but, and I heard it and I said, you know, the belief isn't there. And so let's talk about that and kind of unpack that a little bit, because I don't just want to tell people, show up, do the work, do what you're supposed to do, when the key piece of the puzzle there is that belief. So let's start there a little bit and kind of unpack that.
Yeah, I mean, I always go back to scriptures. My personal favorite self-development book, right? It says, faith without works is dead, right? So you talk about belief and activity. Faith without works. So you can be screaming from the mountaintops, I'm going ambassador. Okay, let's check the work. What does it look like to go ambassador? What does it look like to go ruby? What's it look like to go emerald? So faith without works is dead. But let me flip it and reverse it, Ashley. Work without faith is also dead.
Exactly. The inverse is true. I love that.
Yeah. So I used to buy into this philosophy for so many years, and I've done it just like so many of us have done it, just naturally. You just heard it's a process. We've all heard, success is a process. It's a process. And I have learned, Ashley, success is not a process.
Okay.
No, write this down.
I'm listening.
Success is not a process. Success is a formula. Success is a formula, because you can be in the process of doing something the wrong way for a long time and still not solve the equation.
That's so good.
You've got to learn the formula. And so most of us, we get hung up on the work part. And that's okay. I did it in the very beginning. Show me how. What should I do? How should I do it? Should I do host a post? Should I go do a rap party? Do I do conference calls? Do I do webinars? Do I run leads? Do I run ads? Do I master Facebook AdWords? Do I post to my stories? How? And I've learned there are two components to the success formula. There is the mindset What is your mindset on? And then there is the method, meaning the mechanics, the how to. But the truth of the matter is, the method doesn't matter as much as the mindset, because every mentor's method will always be different.
Right.
One mentor may focus on social, and that's her primary or his primary focus of growing and building the business. I love what Melody McFarland told me the other day. She told us I had her on our mastermind session. She said, you know, it took her 4.5 years actually to become an ambassador. 4.5 years, not 4.5 days, not 4.5 weeks, not 4.5 months. She was the first triple in the company, first presidential, first ambassador. 4.5 years. She said something to me that resonates. She said, after 4.5 years, I have never lost my ambassador ranking in 11 years. Shucks. Let me tell you why that resonated. It resonated. We're talking about consistency. We're talking about work. We're talking about belief. It resonated because she said, I said, well, how did you do that? She says, Jared, I don't build boxes. I build relationships.
Builds people. Yeah. Yeah.
And I had to go back to the drawing board because Ashley, when we got started in September 2018, we went triple our first 30 days out the gates, triple, boom, done. First 30 days. I don't even know. I didn't even keep track of diamond and double and all that. I just knew it was triple because there was some things going on I can't mention here. Our first 60 days we went presidential, boom. By January, things were rocking. We had at the first conference, January 2019, had upwards of 150 people at the conference, our first conference. In February, numbers slipped. March, they slipped some more. April, they slipped some more. And we went through a downward spiral in 2019 for 7 months. I didn't requalify as a presidential. We went from presidential to triple down to double. Now, this is where your belief is tested. Write this down, class. A faith that has not been tested is a faith that cannot be trusted. I cannot trust you unless I can trace you. Everybody talks a good game when things are going well. Everybody talks a good game when it's the beginning of the month. But can you walk a good game when things seem like they're going backwards? Remember, I told you, your business goes in the direction of your belief. When your belief is high, your business is high. As a matter of fact, it gets that way only after your belief is high. And oftentimes what we've got to recognize, realize, and respect is when our business is low, it's typically actually because your belief is low. And here's what happens with all of us. When my belief was low, when my business was low, actually, I started looking for someone to blame. It's the company's fault. It's my sponsor's fault. It's my team. And you know how we get. We can create, write this down. We are all the villain in somebody's story. Mm. So I started creating these pictures of why it's your fault. Why didn't you open this country? And why didn't you place this person below me? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And then all of a sudden I came to myself like the prodigal son did. I said, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. I came to myself and all of that training, all of that personal development for all these years and all of that seminars, it had to see that's when the faith is being tested. I said, okay, it's not my sponsor's responsibility. It's not the company's responsibility. It's not my upline. It's not my team. It's me.
That's so good.
I got my mindset back right. I'm not going to focus on the method, Ash. I'm not going to focus, should I do host a post today? And no, whatever you're going to do, be consistent in doing it. I set my mind right. And then before I knew it, God started pouring on the blessings of people showing up, saying, oh, I'm ready. And then we started growing. And now what it took us to do in those dark moments in production in 30 days, now we're doing it in 7 days. Mm. And it's not because we're so great. It's not because I got the answers to everything. It's simply because I decided I'm going to be consistent.
Yeah, that's it. And that decision, I love so much of what you said and wrote it down. You guys, I've been jotting down these quotes. I will repeat them at the end for you guys, but I don't want y'all getting hung up on a quote and missing the good stuff here. But, I loved what you said about your business going in the direction of your belief. Yes. And I can't tell you how many times, and I'm sure you can understand and know this, like how many times in 9 years that it's been customer service's fault. And
Yes.
it's been Pam's fault, and it's been Mike's fault, and it's been Mark's fault, and it's been Cammie's
Yes.
fault, and it's been my team's fault, and it's been everybody's fault except my own. And one of the greatest lessons that I've learned in this business is when things aren't shaking out like I want. And I know the activity. Look at me. I got excited. I'm ready. I'm all curled up now.
I see you.
one of the things that happens every single time when I know that the consistency is there, when the action is being performed and it's being done, I always have to go back and look at my mindset. And I feel, I've heard this said multiple times, I don't know who to give credit to, that network marketing is a giant mirror. And it will show you the things about yourself that are not good, that want to blame other people, that don't take responsibility, that put money ahead of people, that put ranks and titles ahead of relationships. And all of these things have been revealed to me through network marketing. What do they call it? A self-development course with a compensation plan. That's what it is. And if you'll realize that as you're going through this, yes, your job is to rank up. Yes, your job is to grow your business, but your job is to get better. That's you guys, that 99.9% of you that are watching this are probably not on mine and Jared's team. And we're still here wanting to pour into you and teach you what we've learned, because it's been such a gift to us. We want to give it back. And we want you to realize that the self-development has got to come above and before really any of this consistent action can take place, so that you're here for years and years to come. I wrote this down as you were talking, because I feel like this is something that I had to get over, is that you can't out hustle a negative mindset. And I tried for a very long time. I grew up probably a lot like you. I mean, with two parents that are attorneys, I can just imagine. My dad's a pastor. So you know already a little about how I grew up, probably just from saying that. And everything was just about pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You just figure it out. You just do it. You just hustle and you just work. And some of you I know are in this cycle of you're hustling and you're doing all the right things, but the result isn't there. And that would be the key that we would ask you to go back and look at. Where is your belief? Where's your belief in yourself? Where's your belief in your company and the products? Where is your belief in the systems that you're doing every day? Because starting there, that is where, when you match that up with the activity, the result, like you said, it becomes exponential. You start doing things in 7 days that you did in 30, right? That used to take you a year to do. And so I love that. I love so much about that. All right. So what about the new person that is just starting out, that has this idea in their mind because I know there are people that do this. They just got started, and they're in maybe their first, let's say, I don't know, first day to their first 90 days. They're somewhere in that 1 to 90 day range, because we have a huge group that's watching that's doing that. What would you give them encouragement with from the very beginning as they're starting out, to kind of couple with that passion? Because I've heard a lot of my new distributors say they're already coming into the business fearful that this will be one more thing that they fail at, that this will be one more thing that they pick up and put down, that this will be one more thing. And the devil's reminding them of all these times that they've started something and not finished it. What would you say to that, those people?
The first thing I will tell them is set your first goal to be in the business a year from now.
Nice.
That's the first thing I would say. Set a goal. Normally with my business partners, I tell them set a goal to be in the business 18 months from now, a year and a half. Well, Jared, there should be no timeline on destiny. Well, I already know the majority of people quit. They don't fail, they quit.
Right.
And so what you have to understand is that there's a low failure rate in our business, but there's a high quitting rate.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first goal is be here a year from now. The second thing I would tell that new person is, number one, write it down, pay attention. The reason why it's called paying attention, it costs something. Pay attention. Whoever it is that's coaching you, they have a blueprint of what you should do first and what you should do next. Pay attention. You have to be coachable. If you are coachable, teachable, and trainable, you will become unstoppable. So number one, pay attention. Number two, follow instructions. What? Follow instructions. It is so challenging for adults to follow instructions. That's why most people quit. Because whatever they are instructed to do, they have the proclivity to do the opposite. Why? Because of fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Or ego.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ego. One author said ego, the acronym is EGO, edging God out. And I believe in an overinflated ego, because we all have an ego. It's how you manage that ego. It's keeping that ego in check. I don't want you to get rid of your ego. Some people, oh, Jared, you got a big ego. Yes, I have a big ego. I have a high level of confidence. It takes a high level of confidence to be an African-American man in It Works and get to presidential.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have it. You understand? Then the third part of it is, number one, I told you, pay attention. Number two,
follow instructions.
Number three, take massive action. Take massive action. What you were going to do eventually, do it immediately. If you were going to do it eventually, do it immediately. If you're going to put up the hosted post eventually, do it immediately. If you're going to talk to your girlfriends about the business or about the product eventually, do it immediately. If you were going to host your first rap party, whatever the method is that your coach is giving you to manifest your miracle, and write this down and never forget this, the miracle is in your mouth. The miracle is in your mouth. You have what you say, not what we say.
That's good.
So that's what I would tell a new person. And another thing I would tell a new person is this: never compare.
Right.
Never compare. Because oftentimes, you know what we do, Ashley, when we compare our weaknesses to that person's strengths. We compare our behind the scenes to their highlight reel. Shucks, can I get deeper? We compare our regular picture to their filtered pictures. That has taken away all of the imperfections and impurities. And like you said, network marketing is a mirror. The closer I get to my goals, the closer I can see my imperfections that I've got to work on. Oh, I got to get rid of selfishness. I got to get rid of this lying. Uh-oh. Yeah, I've been lying to myself, saying I'm not good enough. I've got to get rid of this bad language I've been using. I'm not the one, or I'm not chosen. I'm not loved by God. What's wrong with me? I got to get rid of all of that's the mirror to you. Say, I've got to get rid of all of this. I'm not worthy. Once I start getting rid of that clutter in my belief, oh, the pathway becomes clear. He'll make the crooked road straight. The people, write this down, you cannot start attracting until you become attractive. I become attractive in the beginning. In the beginning, it doesn't matter if you've been in the business 15 days or 15 years. You grow through this process because success is a formula. And I want you to never forget this. Every ambassador has a past, but every distributor has a future. That's my story.
That's good. That's so good. And you know what? I would even go a little bit further and remind all of the ambassadors. I know for myself, I've had to continually keep that reminder in front of me that there's still more to do, that this is not done. And I know for some of you, you got in the business, and this is where I'd like to go next. So again, thank you for the segue. Thank you. You just teed it up, just right here, just teed it up. You know, so many of you joined this business and maybe you hit that first goal because your goal was to make a little extra money to help with bills, right? Maybe your goal was to help pay for daycare. Your goal was, that you could go to Target and not stress about putting extra clothes in your basket when you did it. I don't know. Whatever those first goals were, a lot of times we set them pretty small because it's all we can wrap our brain around. Network marketing can provide you with an income and a level of financial freedom that you've never dreamed possible. But a lot of times we can't wrap our brain around that. We don't have a brain cell for for a company that can do that, or a compensation plan that can do that. And so we play it small. We play it small with our goals. I remember telling my husband in those first, just at the very beginning, gosh, if I could just, if in a year I could pay our mortgage, I don't know what I would do. If in a year I was making our mortgage, I cannot even fathom. Like, the vision became clear so quickly to me that there is so much more to do. And so for those of you that you set that initial goal, maybe it was small, and you reached it, let's talk about going to that next level, Jared, and taking that consistency on through and raising that level of belief to where now $500 a month, that we can't stop there. We've already met that goal. Let's go. And I feel like that's where a lot of people get tired and they kind of get stuck. Wouldn't you agree? They hit that first goal, they reach it, and then they get stuck because they're not dreaming bigger to that next thing. And so let's talk about that for just a bit, because that's a huge part of consistency too.
Yeah, Les Brown says many people fail in life not because they aim too high and hit, or aim too high and miss. He says many people fail in life because they aim too low and hit. And many people never even aim at all. And so there, you start your goal setting with where your belief is. So that's why I always caution people. I do it with leaders all the time. Oh, I'm going triple. And I look at the back office. You hadn't requalified Emerald. Well, that's fine. You're going to go triple in September. Great. What's your date to requalify Ruby? What's your date in September to requalify Emerald? What's your date to hit Diamond? Because what happens is we start putting off these lofty goals out front of us that we know there's no accountability daily to accomplish. So there's nothing wrong with starting with that goal. But once I've gotten there, how do I stretch? That's the key. How do I stretch my vision? Here's what you have to do. You have to earn your way to be in the rooms and around people that have accomplished more than you have. You got to get around them, because when you're around somebody that had your best year last month, it has you thinking differently. It's called a portrait of possibilities. Write this down. You must learn to keep in front of you what you want inside of you. So I believe, I'm a firm believer, Ashley, in dream building. I'm a firm believer in dream building, and I'm not just talking about to the degree of going out and looking at a dream home or touring dream homes. I'm not only talking about going and sitting in your dream car and taking a jar. I used to take a jar and go and sit in my dream car, and I'll put the air, there's a different air in a new car. I'll put the air in the jar. So when my belief is challenged, I'll open up the jar, get a little whiff of it, close it back up, and get back to my dreams. You understand? And so what I tell people is this: get around the environments, get around the people that stretch you. But here's the most important part. Yeah, you can go get around the dream car. You can go get around the dream house, the dream vacation, but get around the people.
Right.
Oh, the conversations are different. And what I've learned is that proximity is power. Because what happens is this: it will demystify success. I was sharing with a group the other day, Ashley. One of the things that helped my belief in the very beginning was when I had earned my way into a leadership retreat, this early on in my career. And I get to the house where the leadership retreat is going to be, and the gentleman that was put it on, multi-millionaire, he had done extremely well in business, all these types of things, and he was moving some stuff from one room to the other. I got there early. The event started maybe at 4. I got there at 2. That's a message all in itself. Some of you show up on time and think you're early. No. You got to show up early to be on time. And so I got there, and he's moving some things from one room, and I wanted to help out. And Ashley, here's the thing. Now, you're going to laugh at this. He bends over to lift it, and I noticed his ankles were ashy. I said, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be successful. Jared, how do ashy ankles tell you you're going to be successful? Because I was like, wow, this man that I've only seen on stage, this man that I've seen in front of hundreds or thousands of people, I've only seen on webinars, and when they edify and they talk about him, it's like he's walking on water and glowing in the dark. You mean he needs lotion too? He gets ashy too? He's just like me? Oh, I'm going to be successful. That's what happens when you're able to get around your future. How do you get to your future? Here's how you get around. Here's how you get to your future. Hang out with it.
Yeah. I love it.
That's how you get stretched. So I'm looking for ways right now to earn my way to getting around the Ashley Sinclairs and get around these double ambassadors and get around the ambassadors and the Black Diamonds. I'm itching, trying to figure out what can I do to earn my way to get around and to develop and build a relationship with Mark Pentecost and get around Cammie Moore and get around Patilla Moore. Why? Because I've got to demystify success. I've got to, it's like, Ashley, you ever been around a woman or a man that doused themselves in cologne or perfume and you embrace them, and when they leave the room, you still have their aroma on you? That's what happens when you get around it. Even when they're no longer around you, their essence is still on. You start thinking like them. That's how you know it's working. When you say, well, I wonder how she would handle it. I wonder what he would say in response to this. It's now their essence is on you. And you begin to have and buy into the philosophies and the mindset that got them to where they are. And that's where the stretching begins for you, where you say, okay, I set a goal for 500 a month. Why not 500 a day?
Yeah.
Why not 500, watch it, an hour?
Yeah.
And we don't make income claims, and we'll put up an income disclosure statement. I'm not making income claims. I'm just claiming that you can go out and claim your income because you can claim your reality because you create it.
I love it. Jared, when you were talking, I just thought of, the times that I have spent with people in the rooms like what you're talking about. Yes. I'll tell you one thing that stands out is they're not talking about other people. They're only ever talking about, if they're talking about other people, they're talking about the good in people and the things they want to emulate. They're building people up. And I always tell Pam this, when I get around Pam and spend time with her, she, every single time I'm around her, reminds me that anything I want is possible, that I can have it all, that I can be a businesswoman and a great mom and an amazing wife and love the Lord. And I can do all these, I really can do it all. But the other thing that happens when you get around people that are where you want to be, they grow your mindset to a place that can't be put back. And Mark always talks about that once the mind has been expanded, it can't contract back to where it was, which is why when you reach your highest check or you reach that highest level and then you don't hit it or you fall back, you're dissatisfied. It's not that when I make, I'm not allowed to talk about money. It's not that whenever I make X amount that I'm unhappy or that I can't pay my bills on what my husband's yearly salary used to be. And so I'm dissatisfied with less than the best because I know what's available and I know what's out there. And that's what happens as you begin to grow your mindset and your belief system. The things that you used to dream about become your reality. And then they're no longer this is how you keep progressing up, you guys. It doesn't happen like this. It happens just like this. And all of a sudden your standard gets raised. Wait a minute. I don't talk about people anymore. That's not who I am anymore. Hey, wait a minute. I don't believe though that small-minded, I don't have that small mindset anymore. No, that's not who I am anymore. No, I don't hang out with people that only complain. I can't do that because I know what I can fall into. Right. And so you begin to raise that bar and that level for yourself. You guys, that will take you to a place that I'm telling you, it's so much bigger than the money. And it's so much more about the person you can become, which in turn allows you to turn around and give back to those that, aren't in that same place. I'm not even looking at the time. For Pete's sake, look at what time it is. Okay. I want to go about 800 different ways. And I'll tell you what, Jared, I feel like you've covered so much of what needed to be said. Talk to, you said set a goal to be in business 1 year from now. So this brand new person comes in and you tell them, I want you to set a goal to be in business 1 year from now. What are the steps that you're teaching them to take over that year? Right? You're showing them the plan, you're showing them the system, and you're building into them that belief. What are some of those like concrete steps that you're showing them how to do? And kind of getting down in there and showing them so that they learn how to be consistent so that a year from now, they're still doing the exact same work. They're just repeating.
Well, let me say this, because it's three simple things. We've heard this when we first got started in 2018. It was all about steps to success.
Mhm.
And it's still steps to success for us, right? But I'll say this. I want you guys to write this down. Gossip is the tax you pay for becoming a leader.
Say it again.
Gossip is the tax you pay for becoming a leader or becoming successful. There's going to be gossip about you. They're going to talk about that. They talked about Jesus, and he was perfect. Ashley, do you know Jesus? Oh my God, I don't want to preach, but let me say this because let me get to this because I'm close out with that. Let me say this. Ashley, here it is. All right, so now we're talking about daily routine, the how aspect, right? So set a goal 12 months to be here 12 months from now. So what are you going to be doing? You're going to be prospecting, presenting, following up, and closing. Those are the 4 things you're going to be doing. Prospecting. I don't care if you're prospecting online or offline. You hear some people. I had Jade Hooper on our mastermind call a couple of Mondays ago. She says when she got started, her husband was negative about the business, but she needed $150. That's what she needed. So every day she said she would be under the covers because her husband was next to her and he was negative about the business. She would be under the covers with the screen turned a little bit darker, inboxing 100 to 200 people a day. That may be your prospecting method. Some of you, your prospecting method may be, hey, I'm going live every single day. I don't want you to get so hung up on the method. You do whatever it takes. You do. Well, should I put up 2 posts a day? You may need to put up 20.
Yeah.
Should I go talk to 20 people a day? You may need, as bad as you've been acting the last 2 years and some of the stuff you've been doing, you may need to talk to 200 people a day. All right, you don't want to hear the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Let me say this, and I want you to write this down. Your first year in this business, oh God, I hear you. Your first year in this business, you will either be rewarded or punished for how you lived your life prior to getting started.
Oh, my heart. My heart. That's so good.
Yes, your first year, you're either going to be rewarded or punished for how you've lived your life before you got started. So before you got started and it works, you weren't the best people person. Oh, I don't like people. Well, you're now in the people business. So if you don't like people, chances are people don't like you. So guess what it takes to grow your business? Guess what it takes to enroll? You need people. You understand? And here's what I always tell people. Don't use people to build the business. Use your business to build people. And the first person you need to build is you incorporated. So you're going to prospect. Whatever the method is that your coach is giving you, whether it's online posting, offline prospecting, you've got to be talking to people. When in doubt, you need to be talking to new people. New blood is the lifeblood of the business. So prospecting, that's what I'm teaching them. I'm teaching them how to prospect, how to invite, how to talk to people about the product, how to post before and afters, how to leverage on their stories. It's not good enough anymore, Ashley, to be at the right place at the right time. You got to be at all of the places all of the time. I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm in my stories. I'm in inboxes. I'm at IHOP. I'm at Walmart. I'm in the gym. Oh, yeah, I'm everywhere. Why? Because I don't know where my next Ruby is going to be. But I'm going to be around when he or she is looking for me. I want to be out there, available, saying, I'm ready to be your sponsor. I'm not ready to be your enroller. I'm ready to be your sponsor. Anybody can enroll people. Can you sponsor someone? Can you see, sponsor means I am responsible for showing you the steps to success.
Yeah.
You understand? So prospect, present, you got to learn how to present the business. Yeah. Whether you're sending them a video, whether you're talking to them one-on-one, you got to learn how to present your product. How do you feel about your sleepy tea? How do you feel about the wraps? Have you used the products? How do you present them? So prospect, present, follow up. The fortune is in the follow-up. I teach them how to follow up. Following up is just finding out, collecting a decision. Ashley, you ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Oh, okay, well, let's go ahead and get you enrolled.
Let's do it.
So I got to follow up. The fortune is in the follow-up. Nobody goes, oh, I'm going to get in trouble because I know y'all are healthy eaters. Nobody goes to McDonald's, orders at the first window, and drives past the second window without picking up their order. Mm-hmm. That's what the follow-up is. You've already placed your, oh, yeah, it is. I placed my order when I prospected you. I placed my order when I presented the business. I placed my order when I put it up in my stories. I placed my order for success when I put it up on social. I placed my order when I called you. I placed my order when I sent you a voice note. But I've got to follow up with you. I got to stop by the second window to get what I've ordered.
Yeah.
And then
So
the
good.
fourth, prospect, present, follow up, and close. I got to close this chapter. I got to close this conversation. I've got to close by collecting a decision. I'm a decision collector. I get paid for you saying yes. I get paid for you saying no. And I get paid for you saying, let me think about it. Let me pray about it. Let me ask my husband. Let me ask my wife. Let me get back with. I get paid for all of those decisions. And so that's what I'm teaching, Ashley, the new people. And that's what I'm teaching the experienced people. And even so, that's what I'm teaching myself by listening and learning from everybody else.
No, it's so good. And I feel like the longer we stay in the business, we get away from those simple, four things. And that was part of where whenever Cammie said, Ashley, what are you going through in your business? What's going on? What kind of series can we put together? I said, gosh, for me, Cammie, the basics are where it's at. And more people, I wish more people would realize that they have every tool in their hand that they need. It's simply going out and doing it. It's simply sticking with the basics, that I'm following up and I'm sending out host to post messages and I'm inviting people just like I'm asking my new Rubies to do. And the minute that stops, my business begins to die. My fire, my passion begins to die when I am not keeping it simple and I am not sticking to the basics. And so I hope you guys hear every single thing that we went over in this Back to Basics series, from asking and messaging, that was prospecting, from posting, from sharing and presenting, right? It's exactly what Jared was just saying, to follow up. We had an entire day on follow up and on how to talk to people and how to close that deal, on how to invite people into this, how to set up your host to post, how to stay organized when you do it. And then talking about self-development. And then today was just another like cherry on top of really the self-development, continuing to develop yourself consistently. You guys, you have every tool that you need. I hope that you see that. I hope that you begin to put down the lie that, oh, if I just knew, we are in an age of information where there is more information than you could ever want. If there is something you do not know how to do, if there is something you are not good at, you have got the information in front of you. Go find it. Go ask. Go look. I have people, you don't understand me. People message me and go, well, how do I do this on Instagram? Or how do I do this on my stories? Or how, like, there's a YouTube, Google. How the heck do I put the words across my screen like Jared does? There will be a YouTube video that pops up about that. So not having the information is no longer an excuse for you. You have the information at your fingertips. You're lazy in going out to get it. We literally are spoon feeding you every single thing that needs to be done. And now it's time. I've been thinking about how at the beginning of the year, where people will say network marketing doesn't work. And I'm pretty sure I follow you on social media, and I'm pretty sure that I wrote down what you said the other day about failure, that it's not failure. Where is it? Oh, there's a low failure rate in network marketing. There's a high quitting rate. And I love that. And I thought about gyms, that it's the same way people say, well, MLMs don't work. And I'm like, that's like saying the gym doesn't work.
Right.
Because January the 1st, you have this influx of people, right, that get this surge of motivation, and gyms work. Gyms do work, right? But it's the people that in March and April and May and June and July and September that are in their daily consistent building that are the ones that are going to see the success. It's not the people that just go when they have that influx of motivation. I was just watching Tony Robbins a minute ago, and he said that motivation's great. It's a lot like a bath. You should get in a bath every once in a while, but you need way more than that in your life, right? And so I feel like this little shot of motivation, you guys, at the end of the day, as great as this is, Jared's not going to be on your Zoom for an hour every single day motivating you. At a certain point, you have to take the information that's here, ingest that, feel it, get it inside, so that then you can turn around and do the actions that you need to be successful. So, dang, Jared, I knew I had you last for a reason. I appreciate, respect you. That's more it. Forget appreciate. I just respect you so stinking much, and I hope you know that. I knew from the minute I met you that there was more to you than just having been successful in this other network marketing company, that you really were someone that thrives on helping people change their lives and become better. And I just love that so much, and I appreciate you and your time. So I'll tell you what, guys, you have everything you need. All the recordings are going to be up. And you know what? I'm going to turn this recording off. And then Jared, how about we pray for everybody real quick?
Absolutely.